I'm sat here in my house, back in my home, Worksop. It's been a difficult time of the year, as you know. Lots happening. I've thought very, very long and hard before doing this diary because I wanted 2011 to be more upbeat. However, the beginning of the year has been tricky. Financially, it's been a tight time of the year. It's always January, February for entertainers is the most difficult time of the year. I'd say it's become the quietest time of the working calendar for us all. The credit crunch has obviously had huge effect on the entertainment industry. Clubs and pubs are closing. You know, artists are trying to get to the point where they're all trying to find ways of raising their profiles and getting work and things. He's been working extremely hard as well. Some of the bad bits that have been happening, and I'm going to make reference to Keith and the ex, because some of you feel I'm getting my just desserts, obviously, who don't know the full story. You must be thinking, well, what did you expect? You've asked for what you've got and everything. However, I don't actually agree with that, because I went into this relationship with all the expectations that you would go into, and got a little bit of egg on my face. I've been hurt, yes, by the person I love, that's for sure, but I've also been helped by the person I love, and that, you know, he's done some lovely things, and you know, he's not an easy guy. He hasn't always done the right thing, but he does have feelings, he does have a heart, and he does have kindness, and he does do nice things. Not always when you want him to, but he does do them. For instance, you know, he came to my rescue a couple of weeks ago. I was working in a club. I was down at his house staying over, and I went to buy my very first Valentine's card in years and years and years and years and years. And I'd had an awful lot of stress the week before and that week from the ex-partner and from her daughter. Harassment is the only way to describe it. I've got to say this, you know, I understand hurt, I understand dignity, I understand respect. I also understand hypocrisy and aggression and behaviour that goes beyond what is required, beyond what is acceptable, and comes down to basic harassment. And truthfully, the behaviour week after week after week when I'm down in Coleshill is sheer aggressive harassment, behaviour that is not innocent. It's not hurtful behaviour, it's twisted behaviour and not acceptable behaviour at all. This is a woman who works in the public sector. Her daughter is in the health authority. You know, the daughter's coming up 25 years of age. This is an adult woman, the same as I am, who knows how to deal with things properly, who talks about respect but doesn't give any or show any respect, who deliberately tries to destroy the relationship with the Frog Prince week in, week out, and undermine it, and is really not good. I have done my best to respect her. I have done my best. I understand my involvement with the Frog Prince opens me up for criticism. It also opens me up for being part of the pain that she's going through, as she was part of the pain I went through. but I'd like to think that out of the two of us, I have handled it with more respect and dignity than perhaps I can say of her. She says that she's very amused at my antics on YouTube and would like a good laugh. She goes on to describe me as being a fat, ugly thing, of making constant references to my size all the time, as though, you know, that is a major factor why I should be lovable or not. And I did spoil myself, really, because being at a very low ebb last week with the anniversary of the death of my son, and the week before, it's always a tough time. I did do a little bit of a tit for tat this time on the text, really. I tried to be nice. Again, I tried to be understanding, but then when it got really vile, there was a moment when I said, you know what, you know, you may say that you're beautiful in comparison to me, and that I'm this horrible, ugly, fat thing, but you are sure ugly inside, lady. And the next day I sent a text apologising for that, and because I did feel that, you know, it's not good. A catfight between two women over a bloke is not a very dignified or good thing to have at all. And but I'm sick to death of being under attack constantly, week in, week out. Threats against my car, threats against me, telling me get out of the house, get out of Coleshill or else. You know, this is someone who the Frog Prince has said, take what you want out of the house. He's arranged a couple of days for her months and months ago to come and get all the things she wanted. He's paid her off money-wise for the things that she didn't want. And even text to say, if you don't get out of the house, or give me money that I feel I'm entitled to, you give me money that I'm entitled to, or I'm going to come back there and take the curtains and the light bulbs. I don't know how to react to that at all. I just think it's very strange behaviour. And the daughter coming round, banging on the door and the windows, thudding on the door and the windows in the evenings. You know, this week, on the anniversary of my son's death, which the ex-partner knew, she deliberately went out of her way to upset me, sending texts and sending my replies to Keith on his phone to try and cause trouble, and they weren't quite in the right context rather, so that it you know, they didn't come across as I'd actually sent them, to try and, you know, explain to her and defend myself from all these texts that were coming, bombarded with text after text after text. And I made the mistake of getting involved and sending texts back, trying to placate, trying to understand, trying to be kind, trying to respect. It's not going to work, is it? She has to move on, I have to move on. And it's very difficult to know behaviour like that. What do you do? Do you continually keep taking the flak, saying, yes, I am with your ex-partner, I'm sorry it's hurting you, I didn't know about you, you know, but I'm in love with him and we're trying to make a life together, please forgive me? Or do you just say, enough's enough? Well, on the anniversary of the death of my son, it just came to me that enough is enough. I'm sick to death of taking anger for what is basically a decision to be with somebody I'm in love with, who, you know, I'm trying to work out my own issues with. I'm not going to put up with any shit from anybody anymore. I'm sorry for swearing, but I'm not, you know. And, you know, I'm just logging these incidents because I do believe if this goes on, I'm going to have to go the legal route, and I'm not going to hesitate to do that now. And if I have to get you know, I've already stopped the police from going around to speaking to this woman purely because I don't want to cause her dad upset, and I am trying to respect that. But she lives with her dad, and she's saying that, I'm disrespecting him purely by being in the same town as my boyfriend, partner, whatever. And yet, a couple of Sundays ago, she gets out of the car with this elderly gentleman in it and starts screaming abuse at Keith. That can't have been very pleasant for her dad to listen to. She's going on and on and on about Keith to his sister in front of her dad, but she's absolutely berating me for being in the same town as her dad, and that is disrespectful to her dad. There has to be a moment when this lady gets a grip. My problems, my issues are with my partner, and that happens to be her ex-partner now. And I don't care if Keith is ranting and raving about me, if we have problems, is saying whatever he is saying to me, I love you, I want a life with you, let's do it. As long as I don't find out about any inappropriate behaviour, then obviously it's my place to stand behind my partner with an eye on the options of what could be going on. And I'm quite well aware of that. But I'm also very, very strong in myself that the minute I personally find out about inappropriate behaviour with any woman, with any person, that is going to jeopardise our relationship, I'm strong enough to quit and walk away. And if I have to do that, then I have to do that. But at the moment, there is no reason to do that. He is making effort. He's doing some lovely things. He has a very short temper, short fuse. But then again, I have moments when I'm not perfect either, when I have a strop or take my dummy home as well. I lay down certain lines that can't be crossed. He has a reaction. He does certain things which I think, I'm not going to tolerate. And he says to me, hang on a minute, this works. Normal relationships have those moments. What can I say? At the moment, this is a normal relationship apart from the harassment of the ex. Now, does that make it a basic instinct moment? Or does that make it was it the hand that rocks the cradle moment? Well, yeah, in my eyes it does. It's crossing the line. And with all the best intentions, yes, somebody else is hurt. Yes, this can't be easy for anybody. It wasn't easy for me. It's not going to be easy for her. However, the difference between us is I left him alone to go back to her, and I gave her the opportunity to make it work. That failed. For whatever reasons, that failed. But it's not my fault, and it's not my responsibility to keep considering someone who is constantly attacking me and hurting me and deliberately, aggressively building up a vendetta in her own mind against me. The problem is with her ex-partner. The problem is over now, hopefully. That will, disappear in time. If it doesn't, I'll deal with it. But I'm not being harangued, harassed or blackmailed anymore. And my responsibility, I'm sorry, to anybody who doesn't agree, is to me and to my partner. And that's what I'm going to do. That's life.